Stress. So we're into week 2 of the month and talking about things related to lifestyle, kind of the everything else part of what we do that doesn't come under food and exercise. And over the course of these 5 days, I'm going to talk about 5 different areas of life, considerations, things that you maybe would benefit from hearing some of my thoughts on. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about stress, something that we all feel. And I think that most of us would agree we would like to feel less of. But what often underpins some of our challenge with stress is the assumption that all stress is bad and that we want to reduce it, feel less of it, etc. And that approach actually leads to more of it, because you can see stress in one of 2 different ways. Distress, the draining, negative version of it that we probably are more familiar with, and eustress, that challenge, that putting ourselves physically or mentally through something difficult that isn't easy, that causes a degree of uncomfort for the benefits it brings. So exercise is a form of eustress. Challenging ourselves at work, trying new projects, things like that. Challenging conversations with people that will benefit us both. They're forms of eustress. And almost the more eustress we choose to add into our life, often the less distress we get, because we end up with a body that we like the look and feel of more, that serves us better. We end up with better energy levels. We end up with a greater deal of satisfaction with our lives because we're achieving things that motivate us and drive us and tie in with our values and the kind of person we see ourselves being and wanting to become. So that's the first point, that we can't avoid stress completely. Trying to avoid stress altogether just creates more distress longer term. Tactically choosing what eustress to add into our lives, what challenges to choose to willingly take on that won't be easy, that will cause challenge and frustration along the way, but that will be worth it for the benefits they bring, will lead to less stress overall. A second consideration we can make is different lifestyle practices that will help either reduce the stress levels or at least how we deal with that. Things like yoga and meditation. I don't think I've met more than a handful of people in my life who've tried meditation for a reasonable period of time who haven't reported benefits to their stress levels. People normally try it a few times for a couple of minutes and then get frustrated at themselves because their head isn't empty like some sort of Buddhist monk. That's not what meditation is all about. It's allowing a degree of slowing of the brain, not an emptying completely, but a degree of slowing, a creation of space. If you're not sure how to meditate, download an app like Calm or Headspace and they'll lead you through some guided meditations. And if you do them for the duration of it, rather than giving up after 3 minutes because you're getting annoyed that you're still thinking, then I'm fairly confident you'll report benefits from that. Journaling, another great way. Getting out of our head all those thoughts that we've got and putting them down on pen and paper does a few different things. Sometimes makes us realise actually when written down, it's not that big a deal when it bandies around our head as half-formed thoughts versus when it's written down in black and white. And it also potentially helps us create a plan to change that thing that causes us distress. We can often then choose to do things that maybe create eustress, but change that situation. So in short, stress isn't fundamentally bad. What we can do is choose the types of stress we have in our life to a degree. We can choose more eustress to reduce distress. We can look at lifestyle practices that will help with the way we deal with them. And we can then get those things out of our head on paper, both to change the way we look at them and potentially to allow us to create a plan to reduce some of them.